What's going on, guys? I obviously have made some changes to my career, and I jumped ship. I was with another broker recently, and nothing against them. Them guys were amazing. They were super great. One of my really good friends is still over at that broker. Great mentor for me. I just started to really look at where it is that I wanted to go in my business, and I found somebody, or I've known Martha Gill here for a little while, and she was kind of somebody that I met at the very beginning of my real estate journey with my original broker that I first started off with. And ever since then, we just kind of kept in touch. But looking at now where I want my career to go, more along the investment side, I'm a firm believer in getting in the right room with people that are doing what it is that I want to do. And what that looks like is obviously the investment side of things, which is I reached out to Martha and I asked her, is there room on her team? Is there room, in her brokerage for me? And she was like, yeah, come on.
Absolutely, yeah.
So Martha Gill, thank you for sitting with me. Thank you for allowing me to join your team. Let's just go ahead and start by telling me a little bit about yourself.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time, to even believe in me, to be able to help mentor you. And I'm a big believer that you are who you hang out with, right? Your spirit and everything. And so I'm Martha Gill. I am broker owner of Casa Antigua Realty. And
my new office.
So beautiful, guys, located here in the East End. So whenever you are ready, just give me a call and I'm here. But yeah, what was it? One time I ran into you and you asked me, what was it? I posted something and you asked me about it, and then that's how we just
I think I saw you put your brokerage information that you had started your own broker.
No. But even before that, we clicked. Whenever we were with the other brokerage, right?
It was okay. So I saw you were investing.
Yes,
I saw you. I'm gonna walk Martha through this, and I'm gonna give you a little story of Martha and why I joined this team and why I wanted to reach out to her. Martha has her hands on some investment properties, right?
Yes. The dark side of real estate.
Yeah, the dark side of real estate. The glamorous, not so glamorous side of real estate. So for me, it made sense to come, to this side to learn everything I can with all the knowledge and the experience that she has. Martha and her husband, Manuel, he was also an operator, right?
Correct, yeah. My husband worked for Marathon Oil in Texas City for 15 years, and my background was already in real estate, and so we just decided that we're gonna sell our beautiful house and invest in real estate, and that was the first deal that we did. I think it was back in 17, and I got my license in, I can't even remember, my son was in kinder, so I'm going almost 9 years in this, but we decided that we were gonna, and start investing, and we did it. I sold my beautiful suburbs home, and I went to a house that wasn't, something that I wanted, but I did it because I wanted to be able to invest. And so we bought our first flooded home in Santa Fe, Texas to invest in, which was $70,000. And we invested in it, and that was our first flip, my husband and I's first flip.
And ever since then, it's just snowballed into where you're at now.
Oh man, now I'm on the real dark side. I'm in multifamilies now, and I hope to one day. My goal is to, have, apartment complexes. Yeah. Okay,
so aside from the brokerage, let's talk a little bit more about that. So you are broker owner here of
Casa Antigua,
and guys, for you guys that don't know, this particular brokerage is located here in Segundo Barrio on the east end. What's that? 7-Eleven
Milby. Yeah.
7-Eleven Milby. We are also we're in the building that's right next door to
the Ironworks building.
The Ironworks building, where your coffee shop is located, right?
Correct. Yeah. So not only am I a real estate broker, I also wear many hats. That's what we were just talking about earlier. I am also a business owner. I own Segundo Coffee Lab, Segundo Lab, and El Burrito Bandido, and we also roast coffee. So One of many hats, yes.
And
yeah.
that's see, and this is why I wanted to kind of come in here and just like you said about, you are who you surround yourself with. And again, it's not to knock anybody where I was at or anything like that. Like I said, everybody in my life and in my past has allowed me to get to this next level. But those of you guys that really know me, I'm not one of those people that just stays stagnant or stays still. I'm just looking for the next opportunity to learn, to grow, to be a sponge. And it just made perfect sense since I like to spend so much time here in Segundo, and I love this community, and I love I remember as a kid going to, is it Memos, the ice snow
Yes,
complex?
oh, no.
That's the record store across the street from the, I forget the name of it. Cancun.
Yes.
My dad used to bring us to Cancun from Pasadena, and from there we would go to the record store Memos, and we would just walk around. So we used to spend a lot of time out here. And once I started to meet some people out in here, like some of the friends from the car wash, Diego and those guys, and what they've been able to do, gym owners, bar owners, it just made sense. This place like just feels like home to me. And I couldn't think of a place better to just grow business, physically, financially, and everything. It just made sense to be here and grow within the community. So I'm glad to call this place my new home. I can't wait to be an asset to what it is that you are building and just be a sponge to what it is. Enough about me. You have the brokerage. You have your hands in the coffee shop.
Yes.
You also have your hands in property management.
Property management, yes. I handle property management personally and business-wise for other investors.
So you own your own rentals as well too, right?
Yes, that's
Okay.
correct. So that's how I started in it as well, because I wanted to learn, how to navigate my own. I had a great mentor that, showed me property management, and then I decided to just take over my own rentals, and then it just, like you said, it just snowballed, and people were calling me investors that I've worked with, and I've been able to pick up multiple units here in the East End, and that's primarily where I keep them at, is in the East End, because since I know so much about the neighborhood and so much about the community, I want to be able to stay grounded here, and that's what Casa Antigua is about, being here in the community. And I also do a lot of community work. I give back my time. Like that storm that came, I went out and helped out local state reps and stuff, and did a food drive. I do the beautification of Eastwood Park. My husband and I go out there and we clean it every once in a while. We help paint different things. Segundo Coffee Lab, we've done school supplies drive, backpacks, giveaways and stuff. And I want to continue to do that because that's just a part of me, that I've been able to be blessed with, to be able to give back, my time and my resources to this community, because I want to see this community, here in Segundo Barrio, East End, grow. And I want to be able to be that platform Casa Antigua offers to be able to do that with others. And, it's just like, you and other agents have told me that, that's why y'all came along, is because y'all seen me doing those things, and y'all seen me, being so active in the community. And, I want to be able to have that here in this neighborhood. So, I believe in this neighborhood, and I just want to keep it going. And I want to be able to be that role model in this community for young Latina girls, like, how I am. I'm not that young, but I want to be able to give that back. So, and I also own a dispensary, because with real estate, there comes stress.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I own a dispensary as well. It's called Segundo Labs. And, I started with the health side of it, the CBD wellness, because, like I said, in real estate, it is a lot of stress. You do have to wear a lot of hats, and you got to make sure that you keep it going to get that deal to the closing table, right? And so that's how I, started, going into CBD. And then we did Segundo Labs, and we have our own brand and everything for the dispensary. And yeah, like I said, I do a lot of things. And one of the most important hats that I wear is that I'm a mom. I have two boys that I absolutely love. They're my life. And that's the most important hat that I have. And I want to be able to show my kids, that they can do anything, that the sky's the limit. And that hey, if my mom did this, what can I do? What's my next level that I can break, the next boundary that I can do, you know?
Do you struggle, or how do you like? You didn't come from money, right?
No, I wish. No.
You probably wouldn't have got as far if you did.
Yeah, you're right. Resilience and, not giving up.
Yeah.
No, I didn't. I am actually a first generation to United States. Both of my parents are from Piedras Negras, Coahuila, and they came over as immigrants, in the 80s. And I was blessed enough to be born here in San Antonio. And my dad always worked hard. That's just what the culture was. Appa went to work and Amma stayed at home and took care of us. And so no, I didn't have that upbringing. And I think that's seeing that that hard work ethic from my dad and all his family and his brothers. It was instilled in me since I was a little girl. And when I got into real estate, I was just a stay-at-home mom. And I tell people this all the time, that my mother's words were, "Mijita, you're going to find you a good man that's going to take care of you." And yeah, I did. And in a sense, I did. I have a wonderful husband, but that's not what I wanted for myself. I wanted so much more. And real estate gave me that opportunity to do so much more, guys. Real estate gave me that foundation to open up more doors, to be able to, be a business owner, to buy properties, to do other things. So yeah, no, I did not grow up with money, but I am building, hopefully one day, generational wealth for my children and my grandchildren.
What does your day-to-day look like? Because your hats, you got multiple hats, right? And so if you had to kind of give like a little just rough sketch of what your day-to-day looks like, because your mom,
yes,
your wife,
yes,
you're a property manager, you're a broker owner, and you're obviously still an agent. So
yes.
What does that not even the day-to-day, because I'm sure every day is different, but what does your week kind of look like?
Chaos. I wake up. I'm not an early bird like my husband. My husband's like 4:35 a.m. And I told him, I was like, I'm not built like that. I'm, when I got to make sure that I get my beauty sleep, or if not, I'm like a big grouch. But anyways, I wake up, get the kids, like I said, that's my most important hat. So I get the kids off to school, and then I come into the brokerage, and, I answer emails. I have to get my coffee, of course, from Segundo Coffee, because it's the best.
Shout out to Segundo Coffee.
I don't even think it even keeps me going. I just drank so much of it already. But, I got to get my coffee, answer my emails, go through my, property management, get with my partner, which is my husband, and, see what units we got to go out, if there's either like make readies, or if there's an eviction, or if I got to go meet somebody that wants to be in, wants to invest and wants to buy a property, or a closing, or, or what if one of my agents calls me and they need help, going through a contract. It's just different things. Or let's just say that something happened at one of the properties, and
like this weekend.
This week, God forbid, Beryl, you're not my friend, Beryl. You did a lot of damage, but it's okay. You got to keep on going, right? And so I got to go out to these properties, and I got to see what happened. I got to communicate. I just got a text from one of the tenants, that about CenterPoint and different things. So it's just different things that happen day to day, but you just get to them. You make a checklist. I make my checklist, and I'm like, these are the most important things that I know that I got to get done today. And I've learned that, just if I communicate with my investors, right? Hey, I wasn't able to get to it today, but I'll get with it tomorrow. It's not that big of a deal, because I used to put so much pressure on myself. And I think there's moments that I still do. Like I've said this before, I'm such in control that I don't know how to ask, hey, Fernando, can you come help me? Can you do these documents for me? Or can you go and open up this door for me, to show this somebody that called me? Because I'm so used to doing everything. I'm so used to wearing all the hats, but, it's just day-to-day grinding, man. It's just day-to-day getting up and just doing what you have to do, because, at the end of the day, you got to put food on that table, right? So that's pretty much just what it is, and being persistent and saying that you're not going to give up, you know?
What was where you're at right now ultimately where you like pictured being, or is this completely different?
No, completely different. So when I got into real estate, I got in it because I was flat broke. My husband had a great career and went to school and all that, but you know, we were still living. Yeah, we had the American dream, but we were still living paycheck to paycheck, and that freaking sucked. You know, and I just told myself I have to do something to help financially, you know, and I said, let me just get into this real estate. And like I tell everybody, I tell my story. When I got in with 6 other people, which we went to Champions together. Some of us joined the same brokerage, some of us went off, and those 6, everybody fell off besides myself. Because it's not easy, guys. It's not. You know that.
I had hair when I started.
It's like literally like this, you know, and I always had the desire, I guess, of wanting to have my own brokerage, but I never kind of pushed myself to it. I just was like, well, if it happens, it happens. But then different things, like going to different brokerages, like the brokerage that I met you, really put the cherry on top and was like, Martha, you need to do this.
It was the tipping point.
Yeah.
It was like the jump off the edge.
Yeah, and it's like, you need to do this because you already know what needs to be done. And, you know, being in the investing side, it didn't make sense for me or for my, you know, partner for us to be, you know, giving away all this money whenever I knew what I need to do, you know, and I knew everything. And yeah, I mean, I did not know, you know, what real estate was going to bring me and what doors it was going to open up for me. But I'm glad, you know, I'm happy, and I've learned a lot, and I can't even wait to see what another 10 years brings me in this real estate.
I love that, because one of the reasons, like the conversations we had today, it's Sunday, right? So most people take Sundays off, but it was the only time we had available to get with the other agents, with the exception of one that was out of town for work. We got together here at the office and we got familiar with everybody. We kind of set some expectations as to, you know, what her expectations are, you know, what I'm hoping to gain from it, and kind of just got a familiar, we got familiar with what everybody brings to the table.
Yeah, what we all have to offer. Yeah.
And I love this. I'm super pumped. I'm super excited. This motivates me, one, being under your wing and kind of learning, but then also two, learning that some of the agents that we have, I think, so Marcelo is, he's got his hands on some investment properties too, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Bree,
yeah,
she also, her and her husband develop properties, homes here in the east end of town.
Yeah.
And she's got one that's getting ready to come up on the market. It's almost done, and she's doing a blue tape walkthrough. A blue tape walkthrough, for those that don't know, is like the final it's the first walkthrough that a client does when they're getting ready to purchase the property. They give you the roll of blue tape, and any little nicks, cosmetic little things, you put a tape there.
The buyers will go out, yeah.
Yep, and then the builders go in, and they repair it, and then you do the final walkthrough, and hopefully everything's taken care of. But one of the agents and her husband develop these and sell these, right? So this is why I wanted to join this brokerage, because there is no, everybody's got their hands in some sort of real estate or some sort of business venture that it's just a constant level up.
Sky's the limit.
Sky's the limit. Yeah. And just listening to your story, listening to just everything that you've been able to accomplish, it's just a no-brainer. It's just a no-brainer. And I know last time I ran into you at the Divine Shine car wash event, we had a big conversation, and I won't touch too much on it, but you also mentioned that, you know, you could go buy the flashy things and all the luxuries and all that materialistic stuff, because you had it in the past. And I love that your purpose now is something different, because that's ultimately what brought me here, is the fact that although you could do those things, and maybe I have a lot to learn because I was just telling you, like, I want the Lambo myself, right?
Well, we all want the Lambo.
Correct,
Who doesn't
yeah.
want the Lambo,
but,
right?
But it's the peace.
Yeah.
It's the peace, and it's the purpose behind it that, like, you can do a lot more without the Lambo than you could with it. And then maybe, you know, if the cards align and everything ends up being...
Well, you buy the real estate investments first so that the real estate investments can pay for that Lambo.
And that's ultimately the reason why I got into this. And this is why I think it's, like you said, again, hate to beat a dead horse, but it's important for us to get into the right rooms with the right people, because if I would have stayed where I was, and there's nothing wrong with it, but I had just had a deeper desire for something more. If I would have stayed in the room with the operators, I would have been an operator for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And I love that your husband knows exactly what that feels like, and to see him walk away and see what you guys were able to build together, it's just the nail in the coffin that validates like what is possible when you surround yourself with the right people, when you align yourself with those that are moving in the direction that you want, or have been there in the direction that you want. And so let's talk a little bit more about the kind of the plans for the brokerage. And what you're hoping to do with this brokerage based here in Segundo Barrio, where you pretty much predominantly operate and live and all this, right?
Yes. So I do. I am a resident of the East End, you know, and I have invested a lot in the East End, you know, with through real estate, through just changing up properties, rehabbing properties. Bringing businesses to the East End as well. You know, I want to see the East End, you know, flourish. I want to see it grow. I'm, like I said, I'm on the board of the TERS 15, which is the East Downtown Development, you know, board that helps make decisions about the infrastructure that comes into the community. You know, I'm one of those board members that helps, you know, with that. And my desire is that, you know, I planted this brokerage and my businesses in the East End because I believe what the East End has to bring, you know, and what is to come even more. You know, I'm a Latina, and my first language was Spanish. So whenever I moved over here to the East End, that's all that was spoken was Spanish, you know, and so I feel really connected to it, you know, not also my husband, you know, his roots were here with his family and all that, but I want to be that brokerage that people call here in the East End. I want to be that brokerage that, you know, you're driving by and you see Casa Antigua Realty sign with Fernando on it, or with Martha, or, you know, or the properties that we manage, you know, managed by Casa Antigua Realty, you know, because I want to be able to give that back. I want to be able to see that little girl that's going to, you know, junior high that doesn't have that foundation. I want to be able to see me or see Bree, or, you know, even the young boy, you know, to be able to see you, you know, and be like, hey, you know, maybe I don't have to go down the wrong path. Maybe, you know, that can be, you know, somebody that we could help guide and that we can give back to or mentor, to be able to maybe be in my shoes one day, you know, and learn from that. And I want to be able to give back, you know, because I still see that there's a lot of, you know, of need in this community, you know, and I want people to just be like, look at me and be like, you know, I'm not all fancy, I'm not all that, you know, but I want them to relate to me, you know, to feel, you know, welcome and to feel, and I would like to see Casa Antigua Realty grow. You know, right now we only have a handful of agents. You know, I have a goal in mind that I wrote down in December, you know, because I'm a big believer in goals, and I will get to that because I know, and right now I'm in a smaller office, but I want to be able to get us, you know, a better office, you know, and, you know, just help each other grow, you know, and I want to give you, and I want to give them and them. I want y'all the opportunity to one day, if that's what y'all want, to be able to be sitting in this seat. That's what my hope is for you, you know. And like I say, you know, every time that, you know, I would run into you, like, I didn't even know, like, that I would ever have a brokerage or that I was ever going to do
Yeah,
this.
that wasn't the plan when I met you. Yeah.
And it's like like at that one post I posted that, we were throwing away some trash at the, I always show the bad side of it because I feel like everybody shows the good side of it, but it is a struggle to be able to get to that good side, right? And you asked me about it, and I'm honest as can be. I'm not going to lie. And I told you, I was like, yeah, my husband and I do investments, or yeah, my husband and I have done this. And I think that's where we clicked. And that's where I want the community to be able to just click with me. She's approachable. She's somebody that I can trust to handle my business, or she has agents, or she has the right tools or the right people to be able to help me open that door so that I can feel comfortable enough to call Casa Antigua Realty and I can say, quiero vender mi casa, or I want to sell, this, or I want to buy this. I want that community to feel that they can come to us and not feel like those sharks that are out there, ultimately. And I feel like I'm a nice shark, I always say that, but I ultimately care. And like I say, I've never advertised in this business. It's all through my sphere, because at the end of the day, the way that I made you feel, you're going to be my biggest cheerleader, because you're going to go tell this person, this person, this person, this person, and they all come back.
Or I'll just come work for you. So and see, and this is why I joined this brokerage, because I also see a lot of the things that you're mentioning, and I can literally almost word for word kind of repeat the same thing too. I look at where there's room for growth. I look at where, we spend our time as kids kind of driving through this neighborhood. I was telling you, coming to the shop, the record store, the raspa place. I look back at all that, and I mentioned this comment to you the other day, and I was just thinking, like, what I was talking about, like the whole, from the economic standpoint of, like, left this area, went to another area, got my degree, or earned my degree, went to that field, made money, and the first thing I did was leave this area. And looking back on that, it's just like, well, if no one pours back into this community will never develop. This community will thrive. And so looking at, there's a gentleman that I follow online. His name is Alex Harmozy. He's not really religious or nothing. He's got a weird thought process, but super interesting to me. And he made a comment a while back, and he said something along the lines of, to die with all this information is like a wasted life. So my approach now is real estate is a tool that I'm leveraging to build the life that I want.
Absolutely.
But I want people to be able to, one, get their homes, like their dream homes, or just obtain home ownership. I don't want anybody to feel like hopeless that they can't obtain their first home. And for those people that have their first home and they don't know how to maneuver the market, I want them to feel like we are a trusted source in the neighborhood, in the community. And we're just like you. We grew up just like you. We just happen to fall in a position where we have a resource and a skill that we can provide back to the community. So I couldn't have thought of a better place to bring my business than to right here to Segundo Barrio. I spend a lot of time with, the car scene. I mentioned some of the guys that I met, the Chicano Boulevard group of guys that I know through the car scene. These guys are right here in the neighborhood too. Diego with Divine Shine is right in the community. So just being at the fact that it's all there, why not connect the dots?
Absolutely.
Because there's a lot of things that we can learn from being involved with these individuals, and there's a lot of things they can learn from us. But I want to give this community that light, that resource that I wish I had, when I was younger. Or could you imagine if we knew now?
What we know?
Like your kids, like you were saying earlier, your kids have been through all these things. Your kids have walked homes. Your kids have done repairs, property management. And now your kids are understanding life at a level up here. But it's because of what we've done. So I truly thank you for what you're doing and betting on yourself, because if you ever don't know if it was worth it, we just had a meeting with three of the agents right now. And so for the record, this is where we're at right now for the year. We're in July of 2024. Let's see where we can do in a year.
Absolutely.
Let's see how many people we can impact. Let's see how many how much we can learn and grow, and that's the beauty of it all. And just walking away from this conversation and getting to meet some of the individuals here on the team,
and all the skills that they
all
have
the skills
to
that they
offer.
have. It's
Yeah.
like I even felt like I was like, damn, I'm behind. Like I need to get
No,
my hands
don't
on a
ever
rental.
think that. Don't ever. That's why you're in this room.
Well, that's what I'm telling you. Yeah. And so this is why, like, I was not so much like I'm behind, but almost in a sense like I got work to do. You know what I'm saying? Like these guys are in where I want to be.
Well, and then, that's how I felt with the social media when I told you. I was like, I don't want to put my whole life out there. I don't. But then I seen you, like, I would open up, social media, and I'm like, dang, Fernando's like doing this and doing that. And then I was like seeing the content, and I was like, man, that's so relatable. And then we ran into each other, and I'm like, man, I'm really behind. I need to get out of that mentality, or where like I'm not going to share my business, but or I'm not going to post this, but we all are a fountain of, what do you call it, like a source or a wealth that we can share and we can give back
and inspire.
Inspire others through this content. I mean, just like you showed me, like I what did I tell you yesterday? I was like, okay, I did one, walking a unit, right? I would like never do that. I'm like, no, I don't care, but you don't realize the potential that you have until somebody else opens it up for you, or tells you. And I'm super excited and super stoked because I can't wait to do more more content and more things, and don't ever think that you don't offer anything, because you're offering a lot to me already. You just by joining us, and and all the content work that you do, and all the resources that you have and everything. I'm just so excited, and I just can't wait to see, like we said, like in a year from now. And we're going to sit here in a year from now
and touch bases again.
On July 14th, 2025, and see where we're at and where we're going and stuff. So
and again, just to add to that too, like I'm super amped up. I'm super excited. I'm ready to hit the ground running. I mean, the fact that everybody was willing to show up on a Sunday, and we spent way longer than what we needed to. Even now, we're here with your husband, and you're sitting with me way after what we've been able to do. But to be honest with you, like I feel like this is your story, what you've been able to, with obviously your husband that's back there, not getting any credit for anything.
I always say he's the brains, and I'm the show. I'm the but yeah.
So what you guys have been able to build, together, and how much you've just I mean, like what you mentioned, we were talking about earlier, to be on the board of the community development. Like you said, like, what am I doing here? I'm in here with attorneys, I'm in here with all these lawyers and all these people, and here I am, little, Martita in here, like, why am I even here? And it's just to see what you've been able to do. It's selfish for me not to want to be in this room, because
that's the doors that I'm telling you. That's the doors that real estate has opened up for me. And it's just the opportunities that real estate has opened up for me. Like you said, when you started, did you think you were going to be here? Hell no, I did not. I didn't think. I was just content, and I just kept on going. And I'm like, if I make a little bit of extra money, just for my kids, and I can take them on trips, or I can do, but I never thought that I'd be managing properties, I'd be buying properties, I'd be, doing all this stuff. I never in my lifetime thought that. And like I said, that's just real estate. That's just the doors that it's opened up for me, and that's just the potential that, it can open up for you and open up for all the other agents,
And that's that, and I'm like I said, I'm there, and I'm tapping into something on a personal level that I'm a little bit more aware of. Like I kind of see the light, and I felt like I kind of took a little control of the room, earlier when we were doing this, but like, it's because I'm fired up. I'm super fired up. I want people to tap into their potential. I want people to feel that it's okay to not have all the answers. I want people to understand that it's okay to be a little scared, but here we are, here they are, that they're gonna help me. We're gonna help each other. We're gonna help the community get to what it is that they want to do. If you guys want the information and you guys want to be able to do something, whether it's real estate, investment or property management, you're here. We're here. We're in the community. We're involved, and I'm super eager to see where this goes. What's one thing you would tell younger you? Like any little piece of advice that you would give younger you.
One thing that I would tell younger Martita, because that's what, all my family knows me about that, that's my nickname. I would tell her that, nothing's impossible and that you got to believe in yourself no matter what. Even if the whole world tells you that it's not possible. It's like I shared earlier. I had somebody that when I started in this industry, she was our somewhat trainer at this brokerage. And when I joined another brokerage, she told that broker, she's like, you got those girls, they're never going to make it. And I thought, and like when you hear stuff like that, like it almost makes you sometimes like think like, is that true? Like, is that really me, But then I think about it, I'm like, no, I can't give those thoughts no room in my mind, because, I don't want to give that, because I know who I am. And I know what I'm capable of, and I know what I'm capable of doing. And, our saying is in our family that no dream is too big. We always say that. Or Gills never give up, because that's our last name. We always say that in our family, and we refuse to give up. Yeah, maybe the world sometimes hands you a card that you don't want to, or maybe something happens, or maybe, but you can't feel sorry about yourself. You got to get up and you got to keep on going every single day. And you got to learn from those things that happen. You got to learn from them, and you got to embrace them, and you got to pivot from when you're in that slump. Okay, what am I going to do to make myself go up? And what I would tell younger Martita is that you got to work, you got to get up, and you got to keep on going, because sky's the limit, and only you have the power to do it, and only you have the power to believe in yourself to make it happen.
Well, how much of a role does your husband play in everything that you've been able to do?
I'd probably say about 99% of it. My husband is my biggest cheerleader, and my kids, like I say all the time, there's been so many times I'm like, I'm done. I'm quitting this. I hate this. I don't want to do this no more. But then it's like I talk to my husband, and he's just all like, okay, well, what is it that you did? Or what is it? Like, calm down. You're just overreacting. I'm a Leo. So us Leos have a lot of energy, We have a lot of energy, and we're just like, like we got to be center of attention. My kids call me pick me, and I'm like, I've been pick me since the day I was born, and because that's just the way that I am. And I got to realize, like I say, the slumps, when things like that happen, like, okay, this is just a slump, but I have to, realize that learn from it, and then just keep on going, and keep on going, because there's greater opportunity. You got to turn the page to get to the next chapter. And no one ever said that, real estate was going to be like this. It's like this, man, And, my husband is phenomenal, and, we push each other, and, I told him to leave marathon, and he did not want to leave marathon. He says, no, I'm fine. I'm content. I make $200,000 a year. I got medical. I got 401k. I got retirement. And I told him, my words were to him, I said, if you stay there, Manuel, that's all you're ever going to be. Because I believed in him, and we believe in each other, and we're a team. And I can't wait to see what more we can do together, and, and what more we can do, pushing each other and believing in each other. And I feel like you got to get yourself in that room. You got to, be relatable and get with those type of people so that you can continue to have that fire, to keep on going,
Do you worry at all that like your kids won't appreciate everything that you've been able to build? Because you hear those stories of, people building these businesses, and people, coming from kind of like, not nothing, but coming from, without the luxuries of life. And you guys obviously have put in a lot of, sweat equity, blood, sweat, tears, stress. I mean, just sacrifices. What are you guys doing as parents? Because there's no book for that, right? There's no book, no how-to guide. Yeah, for parenting, or even to just say, hey, this is what we put into it. You guys appreciate it. Because even as kids now, I mean, as a kid myself, because I'm really a 34-year-old kid, right? Like, I'm really a kid. I had to understand that, my dad and my mom left an entire country to get me here.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I was a little bit older that I started to really understand that, because when I was younger, I would just look at it from a very selfish, childish perspective that we didn't have all the luxuries of life. I didn't have a new car. I didn't have the newest clothes. And looking back on it, I was kind of a little shithead because gave me everything that they could,
Yeah.
but I didn't see it. So now I do. So I'm curious because I don't have kids, and I'm hoping to build something like this. So I'm trying to learn and understand from someone that's doing it and is learning that. How are you ensuring, if at all possible, that your kids are appreciative of what it is and they understand what it is that you guys are building and what they're walking into? Because ultimately, we're going to leave this earth, and in theory, they should outlive us, and it's going to be them.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that, I mean, I'm not going to lie. I mean, my kids have probably more than other kids, you know, but that's because literally, like you said, it's been blood, sweat, and tears, and a lot. When I say a lot of sacrifices, things that people would think they were crazy to do, you know, or wouldn't even dare, you know. And, you know, that's like I said, you know, my parents left a whole nother country. And, you know, when I would tell my dad things, he'd be like, you know, when I was going to open up a business shop, he'd be like, "Mijita, ese es un sueño," you know, and I was just like, no, it's not a dream, you know, like it can be done. And when Abba walked into my business, and he's like, "Mijita, you did something that I could only dream of." Like, Fernando, that gave me like goosebumps. Like, you know, I'm surprised I'm not tearing up right now, but, you know, because I want to be able to give that to my children, because I don't only just want my kids to have what I have built. I want them to continue to keep on learning and keep on building and to grow this thing even further than what, you know, their dad and I can. So ultimately, I have my son working. My son is 13 years old, and child labor laws or not, whatever you think, it's my business. And I, you know,
Cover the mics.
you know, and I have my son working, and my son is gonna, you know, I told my son, you're going to help buy some of your, you know, school supplies, your shoes, because I want him to learn the value of working. And I want him to know everything that, you know, my husband and I, you know. And I want him to know that, you know, the world is not going to give you everything. Your father and I will give you things because we love you, but the world will just laugh at you straight in your face and you'll fall to the ground, you know. And I want them to know that they have to know the value of hard working and appreciate. I mean, my son, like, whenever he hears something, like, you know, he's already seen us. He's seen us pushing the coffee cart from places to places. He's seen mom doing open houses, putting the signs out. He's helped me. He's gone to listing appointments or to work with buyers and acted like a mini real estate agent, you know. And now he's like, "Mom, I don't want to do that, man. You've done a lot." He's like, "Maybe I'll just do the investing side."
Yeah.
And you know, but it's just like, I'm showing them to work, and I'm showing them to be appreciative, and I want them to, and he gets a paycheck, you know, I give him a paycheck, but I also tell him with those paychecks come responsibilities. Like I said, you're buying some of your school supplies, and you're going to save some of your money, you know, because I want him to be able to see these different things and see all these opportunities, you know, that I didn't have, you know. And like you say, sometimes you feel like maybe I got the shorter end of the stick. But I'm here as a mother now, and so is my husband as a father, where we can change that. We can change that for them so that they can continue to, you know, keep on growing this wealth over and over again, you know? So, yeah, they work.
I think that's like the biggest thing that we can do is I'm guessing, I don't have kids, right? But I remember back, you know, when I was a child, my dad waking me up at, you know, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock in the morning to do the yard, you know, or, hey, you're not leaving until you do the yard. And then I wait till 6, 7 at night. I'm getting ready to go out. And he's like, "Where are you going?" And I was like, "I'm going out." I said, "Not without the yard being done." Yeah. Well, then because I was mad, I wouldn't mow the yard that night or that afternoon. I would just stay in. Well, then guess what? When I wanted to leave Sunday, I had to do the yard. Yeah. He taught me how to change a starter, taught me how to change the oil, tires, all just a bunch of random stuff that my dad taught me how to do. And whether that's what got me here or not, I don't know, but it definitely benefited me in where I'm at today, learning what stuff is in the work and all that. So
I feel like, you know, like I've said earlier, like, you know, the hardworking, you know, I'm Hispanic, so, you know, that comes from, you know, seeing my parents, the sacrifices for my mom, you know, being a stay-at-home mom. I feel like all that eventually like molds us, right? My parents laid out the foundation to be able to, they wanted to just build their house, one house to live in, debt free, and granted that was their dream, but I've seen them be able to accomplish that. And I was like, okay, if they can accomplish that, what more can I accomplish in my marriage or with my partner, in life? I will never forget that I could not wait to start working when I turned 16. I was literally like 15 and I was already going to the local Wendy's because I was like, I want money, And so I knew the manager because my brother worked there. And I told her, I was like, Amanda, you're going to hire me as soon as I turn 16. I had already filled out the application.
Just ready to go.
Yeah. And she's like, okay, I'll hire you. And I remember when the owner of that Wendy's walked in, Fernando, and him and his wife, they were like elderly, and they owned several Wendy's in Galveston County. And I walked up to him, and I don't know why I even told him this, but I told him, I was like, one day I'm going to own one of these. Well, granted, it's not a Wendy's, but I own multiple coffee shops and multiple businesses, but I don't know what it was. I just had that, and when I said that, I thought to myself, what did I just tell this man? He looked at me like I was just like, what is this poor child saying?
You don't have any contact with them
no,
now?
No, I don't. I think they probably even passed away now because they were so much older. But, just seeing that drive in them, inspired me, and I thought to myself, man, they were able to do. I remember they would cut the check and it was like a corporation like name or like an LLC name. And I thought to myself, I was like, this is so cool, man.
That's cool.
Yeah. So, yeah.
What do you hope to bring, in the next 5 years for like your life? Like dismiss that question. As an entrepreneur, as an individual that is equal parts crazy and equal parts like risky and bold, do you ever turn it off? How do you balance it? Because what I've started to realize between a lot of like business owners and us that are self-employed, that there's always the chase for like the next big thing.
The drive.
So how do you like manage that? When do you turn it off? When do you not? Do you or probably don't because you got a lot of stuff going on?
One of the sad things about entrepreneurship is that I don't go clock in and clock out. There's times where you've seen those memes on social media as a real estate agent. You land to Hawaii and you're sitting there and somebody's got to get in this house. But I feel like now that I'm at the level that I am, I could say, hey, Fernando, go and show this house. I can call you or one of the agents if you can't go. I don't think that I will ever turn it off because that's just the drive that my husband and I have. We lay literally in bed or we'll go out to eat and we're discussing business ideas. We're discussing the next big thing or how can we make this better or or we even discuss it with our 13-year-old, like, hey son, like what can we do to make this like more trendy, because they're ultimately going to be the future, right? So we discussed I've learned to put this
down.
At a certain time, I'd put do not disturb, even though I still glance at it and stuff, But, I think the most important part for me is when I'm hanging out with my children, because one thing that I will never forget is when my son told me, he says, Mom, you're always working. And this was whenever I was multi-million-dollar producer, right? My son told me, he says, Mom, you're always working. He says, and then when you're here at the house, you're on the computer. And that just like broke
gut
me.
punch, right?
Yeah, and I thought to myself, okay, I need to realize what's important because he's only going to be, both of them are only going to be with me for so long. And so I try, and I even tell my husband, I'm not going in today, or I'm going to do this, or I'm going to do that. My husband's on a whole nother level. He'll go in every day at 5 a.m, not me, but I just tell myself like, there's moments that I take, but then like I may take half a day, but then I know like in the afternoon I got to pick up and, keep on going or vice versa. It's just something that's in you that you just can't stop.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to explain that, and I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, but like I sometimes feel like I fuel from it. Because it's just like a thing that, like, what can I do to get better? What can I do?
We're just wired that way. It's like the average person's wires are like this and ours are crossed.
Mine are like
yours are snip, cross, turned around and all kind of stuff.
Yeah.
What's because there's always new levels to business and to growth and everything like that. You don't have to answer this if you don't want to, but what is one thing right now that you're currently struggling with?
I can't wear all hats. And so one of the things that I currently struggle with is that it's hard for me to pick this up and say, Fernando, go show this property. Fernando, can you help me with this? Or Bree, can you do this for me? Because I'm so used to, I guess, doing everything myself. And I'm like, I can do it, I can do it, I can do it, right? But I know that in order to continue to keep on growing and growing this, I want to be a level where I don't have to do all that stuff. And I want to give y'all the tools so that y'all can continue to grow. And then I can just mentor y'all and get y'all to where I am at, And so eventually that's what I want to do.
It's funny you say that because I did study and I looked into it, and I mentioned this earlier where one of the biggest issues that successful entrepreneurs struggle with is they reach a point where they have a difficult time putting systems in place as far as wearing all hats. And it's funny because I've also noticed that in my business, but then also my brother has a land clearing business where he also wants to do everything. And I think that's just like it's a gift because it's got us here, but it's also like a crutch because we'll never reach new levels of growth.
Yeah.
And the reason for this was to get in here to create a system to get us our time back so you can spend it with the kids and what really matters, because you're right, you only have them for these years for a short moment in time. And if you're constantly working and you're letting work pull you because you haven't been able to build a system with the right team and the right people and set the right expectations, because managing people is hard.
Yeah, it is. It's not easy.
And quite honestly, no one gives a shit about your business like you do.
Yeah.
And that is a very hard thing
it is.
to do.
And a hard pill to swallow.
It's super hard.
Yeah.
And so I'm super pumped and I'm super excited where this is going, and just getting the response from the team that was in here and just feeding off of them and kind of picking their brains to try to get everybody on the same page. And Mauricio even was like, hey, I'm down to meet, like Wednesday. Like, I love that he was amped up because I also go through the cycles and the waves of it. And he may be the positive one in this moment, and I might be the one that might be a little sluggish or just kind of stuck. So I'm super pumped. I'm super excited. I can't wait to see what we're able to do, in this community, with this brokerage, with the team that we have. And I hope we can look back at this in 6 months, in a year, and just sit back down, because as well as I do, staying consistent with what we're doing and pushing through has allowed me to be where I'm at right now, and has allowed you guys to get to where you guys are at now.
Yeah. One of the things that, I always say his name wrong, the founder of McDonald's, that movie, Ron Kraft or Ron Kroc.
Yeah.
He's one of the persons that I look up to, and my husband and I, and he says, you want to know what got me here? Persistence.
Mm-hmm.
He was persistent, and that's what I think all the time when I'm just about to throw in that towel. I'm like, I got to keep on going. I got to keep on driving. I got to, and like we said, our why, like we discussed that earlier, our why. My why is my kids. My why is that I'm the generational chain breaker for my family. I believe it, and that's one of the goals that I write down every single year, because I believe it. I'm gonna get there,
And that's one of the reasons why I came over here, because I see that fire and I see what you have and I see what you're building. And these are the kind of people that I want to be around, because I ultimately also want to follow in these footsteps. I want to get married. I want to have kids, and I want to be present. And I see what you're able to build and I see what you're able to do, but I'm also not naive to it. I know what it takes. I have a general idea as to what you have to get uncomfortable. You have to make sacrifices. You have to get willing. You have to be willing to get punched in the gut. You have to get willing to be slapped in the face, lied to. People are going to try to manipulate. It's going to be ugly. But if you can get through all that and you don't give up and you stay persistent and you're consistent with it all, then sky's the limit.
Absolutely.
Is there any last little words that you may want to give to either anybody that is not so much real estate driven, but is looking for a little push to kind of pursue something that scares them a little bit, a bigger dream, a bigger goal? Is there anything that you would probably, like if your kids were trying to do something, what would you tell your kids?
Well, what I always say is that number one, your faith, what you believe in, we all have different, we're all different walks of life and what we believe in. But, I feel like, having that strong faith, believing, that there's a higher existence God, for me, that, I can have that relationship when moments get super tough for me, and, that I can, pray, and that, I can ask him, like, you gave me this vision, and I know that it's not going to be easy. And if I would have known the vision that you would have gave me, I probably would have ran, right? I would have ran back. But I know that you gave that to me because you knew that, as your child, that I could fulfill it, and I just ask you to help give me the wisdom and the guidance to get there, because it all starts with you. Like I said, if you just got to believe in yourself, and you just got to keep on going, and got to, pretty much be able to tune out, what everybody says, what everybody's going to hate about, or what everybody's going to say, and because, growing up in this culture, like, I don't know about you, but like my mom was always worried about what people thought about us, or what people say, and I always tell my son, that doesn't matter what they're worried about you because they're intimidated by you, and I just always say, believe in yourself, keep on going, stay grounded, look for God, be around good influences of people, and just continue to keep on going to learn, and to grow, because it's not, like you said, it's not easy, and I've been ran through hell and back in this industry, and like I said, I've wanted to throw in that towel so many times, but I refuse, and I'm not going to give that person that slapped me in the face or that didn't use me for that deal that glory, I'm gonna be like, okay, that's fine, keep on going, I'm gonna go my way, and I'm gonna keep on going.
I want to personally thank you for not giving up and throwing the towel, because if that was the case, we wouldn't be here today.
We would have never met.
No,
yeah.
we would have been here
yeah.
today. And to say that you haven't been an inspiration to me, I'd be lying, because even from the very first times where we had the conversation and you were telling me about your husband, that he was an operator, that just let me know that I wasn't a little bit crazy, and what I was doing had already been done before.
Yeah.
And I just want people to see and feel what this feels like, to be able to stressfully, right? A little overwhelming as well, but the quality of life that you can have. Working sucks all across the board.
Nobody wants to work.
No one wants to work, but we have to in this life. And with work comes stress and happiness and all kind of emotions. And I know it's a scary thing for a lot of people to do, but thank you for betting on yourself, because you're giving me a platform to also double down on my goals. Excuse me. And to have this mentor, this influence, to share the room with you, and even just to work right here next to you, it's uplifting and it's inspiring for me. And I want to be able to share this with people, because you have a story that started off very similar to a lot of people in this community. And I want them to know that you can change the outcome of that story.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No problem. I'm so glad I was an inspiration to you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So you guys stick around. I want you guys to be able to feel like what this feels like. I want you guys to be able to get a little inspired, get a little uncomfortable. Whatever it is that you want to do, write it down, work it backwards, set a goal for yourself. If you're struggling with something, whether it's real estate, on a personal level, she is a very busy woman. She might not have time to walk you through those things, but feel free to reach out to me if you need something. Obviously, what I've been able to do over the last 3 years or so, it's a risky thing, and I've gone through some emotional roller coasters, but I've been okay till today, and I know that if I keep doing what I've been doing and surrounding myself with smart individuals that are way above where I'm at right now. I can learn from them, and just, yeah, that's all I got.
Yeah, I mean, you've already done the hardest part.
Quit my job.
Quit your 9 to, or what? 12. What is it? 12-hour shifts.
Yeah, my 12-hour shifts.
Yeah,
quit
I
my
mean,
12-hour
99. Like I told you, 99% of people would never do that.
Yeah.
They're scared to do that job.
I think it was a little bit of like stupidity that kind of pushed me to do that.
Well, I'm glad I was part of the stupidity to help out.
Again, thank you for
Thank
sitting
you guys.
with me.
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
Thank you guys. Like I said, if you
Yeah.
have any questions with anything, whether it's real estate, personal development type of stuff, we're here. We want to be a resource to the community. We want to be a resource to those around us. We're just getting started. This is the first day that we've sat down and we've got to meet everybody, and the sky's the limit from here.
Absolutely, I can't wait.
Thank you.